in the middle of a romance apocalypse.
There are more single adults than ever before. Marriage is on the decline. The birth rate is at the lowest point in history. People are not connecting and forming real relationships. For the first time in human history, the very concepts of marriage and romance, God, the family, gender, and even our national anthem are under attack. Our American values have been slowly deteriorating and replaced with liberal, progressive values. We are in the middle of not only the romance apocalypse, but a war on our very souls. Speaking the truth is called hate speech. Patriotism is now called racism. Believing in God makes you a bigot. The current state of America is directly intertwined with the current state of our relationships. We are actively enslaving ourselves into a loveless, joyless, genderless future. Men and women of common sense and a moral compass need to wake up to the destructive madness that is being thrust upon us in the name of progressiveness and political correctness, and look ahead to where this ideology and agenda are ultimately taking us. We can make love great again. We can make America great again. But we need to remember who we are. We need to remember the spirit and the values that once made this country and our relationships so great.
This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, and we will make America great again.
Yay! Hi guys! How's it going, everybody? It is me, DeAnna Lorraine. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, DeAnna Lorraine, and I'm the author of this book, Making Love Great Again, The New Road to Reviving Romance and Winning at Relationships. Yes, you can get it on Amazon. And it talks about how the current state of America is directly correlated to the current state of our relationships. We are in a war for not only our America that we loved so much, but also the family and our relationships, right? Our relationship between men and women. We're in a war for our very souls. This is a war, guys. It is a physical war, but it's also a spiritual war. And we've got to get our battle shields and get our armor on and fight this war together. What's up? It is Friday. And again, I'm DeAnna Lorraine. Make sure that you are following me on Twitter at DeAnna Lorraine 7 and on my YouTube channel, DeAnna Lorraine 7, because those are where all the actions are. This is where I just broadcast, do my live stream. But on my YouTube and on my Twitter is where I have all the action and all my updates and tweets and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's where it's at, guys. So how's everyone doing today, first of all? How is everyone doing? First of all, let me do a quick check-in with the sound to make sure our sound is all good. How's the sound doing right now? I just started using a different microphone, so I wanted to make sure that it's all good. Okay, hold on one second, guys. I actually can't see you right now, so hold on just a second. I'm so sorry about this, but I'm going to make sure that I can see you. All of a sudden, can't see you anymore. Just a sec. And then we're going to get right into the news today because it's been an interesting week. The title of this of my show today is "The Jezebel Spirit is Ruling the World," and we've got lots to talk about that. Hey guys. All right, sound is good, just making sure. As long as the sound is good, then I will continue. Okay, so first I wanted to just play a fun little game. Yay, happy Friday. Let me back up a little bit. So first I just wanted to play a fun little game, and we're going to play Guess Who the Feminists Are and Guess Who the Non-Feminists Are. Okay? So we're going to play this little game here. Wow, that is loud. Okay, so guess who the feminists are, guess who the non-feminists are.
Spent the day at the White House, working on a strategy to try and save his...
With the Me Too movement is...
Explanation good enough?
I don't really think so. I'm not buying it. I mean,
this was me on CNN the other night.
Forward with a phone call, a text, setting up a meeting. I mean, there's 100 things that she could have done. She could have pressed charges earlier. And he's been a judge for decades. Why is it coming out now? It's awfully convenient that we're right around the corner from midterms, and we're right about to confirm Judge Kavanaugh. Why now? I'm not buying the story, and it reeks of a Hail Mary, a desperate plea from Democrats. And I think that it's actually pretty shameful.
So, Ariva, from a standpoint of just credibility, does the timing matter here?
Absolutely not. And statements...
Lying through your teeth, biatch. Lying through your teeth.
I've been litigating these kinds of cases for decades. And what we've seen over the course of the last several months with the Me Too movement is that for the first time, women are being believed.
For the first time, women are being believed. When did people not believe women? This is also just a made up claim from feminists. It's a feminist talking point. For the first time, women have been believed. I don't think that there was ever an issue of not believing women. So again, it's just another falsity. Now look at this other woman. Again, we're going to play Guess the Feminist here, okay?
And precisely where the attack happened, and she didn't write anything about it at the time. There's no contemporaneous notes, for example.
Well, it's actually quite typical for survivors to respond the way that she has. Most survivors never come forward. Over 70% never come forward. And often when they do come forward, it is many decades later. And the ability to recall details comes back over time. But in this case, she actually has remarkable recall of the details of the incident.
She has remarkable detail like someone made it up.
So that lends some credibility to her claim, as well as the fact that she's passed a polygraph test. But I think that it is very difficult for us.
Who administered the polygraph test? I'd like to know. Who administered it? Who paid for it? Right? Who's her attorney? Anyone curious about that? We know that the anyone who administers polygraph tests are suspect as well.
In this culture, which I would typify as a rape culture, one that doesn't really believe women when they...
Okay, so our culture is now a rape culture, right? Again, another feminist talking point, trying to paint this picture of this gruesome rape culture that we live in, like we're in a third world country where men just savagely go out and rape and pillage women against their will and get away with it, and then don't believe when women speak up. Excuse me? Do you guys even realize what country we live in? We live in the United States of America. It's the best country in the world, and it treats women the best out of every country in the world. So, you know what? You want to go to a real rape culture? Go visit some other country. Go visit like Sudan or Syria or something where some guys really don't value women. But here we're at a place where we have men that are literally feminists, that are calling themselves feminists and running around with vagina hats on their heads, standing up for women and standing with women. Trust me, we have enough white knights in our country. This is not a rape culture. Try again.
They come forward. I think it's really hard for people to process why a survivor might wait. But if you're questioning why it is that a woman who was sexually assaulted wouldn't want to come forward
36 years later. Okay, I can understand maybe waiting 5 years, 10 years, maybe, although I still actually can't understand that. But waiting 36 years, and not only 36 years, but 36 years and to the day that right before Judge Kavanaugh was going to get confirmed, you know, not even the week before, but a day, 2 days before. All right. That is what we don't buy. That is what's ridiculous. And it's clear.
Just look at comments that have been made on this show this evening by the Republican strategists. Just look at how Republicans are treating her. She wanted to.
Okay, so did I give it away too soon? Who's the feminist? Who's not the feminist? I think it's obvious now. And now look, see, this is what gives their whole movement away. This is why they have no credibility, because of the way, well, at least where I don't find them credible and a lot of women don't, because of the way that they, the extreme level that they slander people's character without any facts or basis, right? Like, look at this. Look at this real quick, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
To avoid another Anita Hill situation. And
yeah.
Okay, we got 30 seconds, Caroline.
So she literally says that she's now calling Brett Kavanaugh went from, you know, having a pristine record in everyone's eyes, no one can argue with that, to now literally having the title of sexual predator. Can you believe that?
So what's the likelihood that she made it all up?
The likelihood that she made it up, according to the FBI, general statistics, is 2 to 8%. But in her particular case, she's taken a lie detector test. And of the 65 women who came forward to support Brett Kavanaugh, when Politico went to speak with him, only 2 of them still backed up their claim that he was a good guy.
That's
wrong. If somebody murders somebody, you can find 100 people to say that person's a good guy. It happened. That does not discredit the survivor. And so in this particular case, this is not a cabal. This is an issue of a woman coming forward and telling the truth. And unfortunately for the Republicans, it's another sexual predator, just like Roy Moore and just like the man in the White House with 22 allegations of rape.
Next hour, we'll get into a lot more. I'd like to thank you all. Going to take a very short break.
So now he's a sexual predator. And they have no shame. They have no problem at all completely smearing and slandering someone's character. You know, it's just disgusting. She doesn't even know what year it is happened. Well, women weren't believed by the left when they stood up against Bill Clinton. But then again, they still aren't believed by them because Hillary silenced them. By the way, the polygraph was by her attorney in his office and never asked if Kavanaugh actually did it. What? Wow. That is real disgusting. She bragged about 64 guys in high school. And as a quiet, loving man, there is no hope to find a wife. No, there is hope. This is what my show is for. But we're getting, you know, this doesn't help. That's for sure. So guys, question. I wasn't fully sure, but I want to make sure before I make this claim. Clarence Thomas, he never actually was. Those allegations were never proven, right? Clarence Thomas, I just want to make sure I got my facts straight. I believe that Anita Hill came up, you know, just like this the day before, the 11th hour, and accused him of these things, but it was never actually proven. And also, apparently, Christine Crazy Ford had the same person whispering in her ear as Anita Hill. I forget what the person's name is right now, but I guess that they have the same mentor or handler or something like that. I just heard this from Laura Ingraham last night. That's I mean, how many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? That's what I like to say. So you guys, here's the thing. We are, what I believe, and let me just close this out real quick so I can say this. We are living in a Jezebel spirit world. And this is something that we all really need to be very careful of. I'm sure a lot of people even know about this, right? This isn't a surprise to a lot of people, but we are living in a world where the Jezebel spirit has taken over. Satan has really tricked women into believing that they have all this power and believing that they need to use power and control over men. Satan has really, this is really the greatest deception of Satan, to trick women into abandoning men and believing that men are the enemy and turning against man. And then, riling them up and trying to give them more and more power and control. But really, they're using their power and control in very toxic ways. And this kind of, women in power situation, it's not that I have an issue necessarily with women in power, but when it's too much, it's becoming abusive. And in fact, I would say worse, mishandled than powerful men. And, at least powerful men, at least we haven't had issues like this in thousands and thousands of years, right? But most of the time, it seems powerful men can keep the structure in place. At least they can keep the structure in place, and they typically don't let their emotions get the best of them. They can do things in a rational, disciplined, structured, and orderly way that keeps the country together, that keeps an organization together. It's like the father in a home, father in a family. The patriarchy, I've said this before, but the patriarchy is kind of like the father of a country. If you remove the father from a home, you're going to have soon a home that falls apart, a family that falls apart, and there's going to be a number, ripple effects of consequences that are going to impact the family and the individual and the society as a whole. And if you remove the father structure, the father figure from a country, it's going to start unfolding and coming apart as well. And that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing women that can't seem to be rational and that use their emotions instead of rational or logical thought, and fall into their emotions. They are susceptible to groupthink, probably more so than men. And they fall victim to their emotions. And look at what we're seeing. We're seeing women just ready to slander and attack a man's character, ruin his whole life, ruin his career over just hearsay, over a game of telephone, right? Oh, wow, he did this, Judge Kavanaugh, I heard at a party he did this and this. And then the other friend said, oh my God, Judge Kavanaugh did this and this. I mean, this is literally like a 6th grade game of telephone. And you're going to believe something and ruin someone's career and life over a game of telephone? Because that's what this is. Until any facts have been brought to light, and by the way, all the facts are pointing to Kavanaugh being the innocent one and Christine Blasey Crazy Ford as being the crazy one who is making this all up out of thin air. There's way too many facts and way too many corroborating evidence that shows that she's the one who's lying. But no, because women are susceptible to groupthink and we want to believe her and play on our emotions and have empathy, they're going to destroy someone's life and character. And they will believe a woman over a man simply because she's a woman. Isn't that sexist? It's just disgusting. And this is this is just a small microcosm. This is a small case study of what would happen, I believe, if women truly ruled the world. This is what would happen, I think, if women truly ruled the world. We would see stuff like this all over. Women would not be able to get a hold of their emotions, and everything would go haywire. We would not have a structure. We wouldn't have order. We wouldn't have things that work, right? So call me sexist. You can call me misogynist. You could call me backwards. You can call me a cave woman. I don't freaking care. I care about a society that works. I care about a society where men and women love each other and respect each other. I care about families that are strong and functional. I care about doing what works and speaking the truth. And I don't care about the backlash anymore. God put me here to speak the truth. And I am standing in that truth. And if women can wake up to this destructive madness that political correctness and progressive ideals is being thrust upon us, and realize where this ideology and agenda are ultimately taking us, then we can potentially make love great again. We can potentially make relationships great again, the family, and we can make America great again and the world. But we need more women to wake up to this destructive madness and stop falling along to this groupthink. It's getting out of hand. And, you know, women need to understand this hard truth. It doesn't make you a bad person to admit that men are probably better leaders, that men are probably better at running a government. You know, it doesn't make you a bad person. In fact, women have beautiful, wonderful talents, and we're better at men than many other things. Why not embrace our differences and love them for each other? Something is wrong with modern women. I'm telling you, it's this Jezebel spirit that has been infecting women, coming up from Satan, not down from God. Where's the outrage over Cory Booker? Where's the outrage over Keith Ellison? Okay, now let's continue on with this Jezebel spirit. Okay, sorry, but this is going to be a little bit of a thing here. So here goes Kristen Gillibrand, who, you know what? I'm going to close my window because I'm starting to think it's sabotage. By the way, I have my Bible with me. Does anyone have a good Bible quote for the Jezebel spirit or for what's happening right now? I would love to hear it if you guys have a good Bible quote for that, because I want to start using this more to try to get through to women. So here, Kristen Gillibrand saying that Kavanaugh accuser, Christine Crazy Ford, should skip this, what she calls a sham hearing, which is getting bullied into he said, she said scenario. Look at this madness. Now we're really distorting truth, right? This is all a distortion of truth. Look at this. She's saying that President Trump has no empathy for Dr. Ford. I'm sorry. Trump is trying to protect himself. He's trying to protect this friend, this judge that he's known for many, many years, and he knows has a crystal clear record. He knows this man's character, and he is getting completely attacked by all angles without a shred of evidence. His family, his wife, everything else is at stake. I'm sorry. Maybe Trump is just being a little bit protective of himself and his friend and his confirmation process, and doesn't have a lot of room left over for empathy for this woman that came out of the woodwork 36 years later. Just a thought.
Melanie, thank you very much. Let's get more on all of this with Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York, a member of the Armed Services Committee. Senator, thanks for joining us. On Monday, Professor Ford's lawyers said her client would be willing to testify publicly before the Senate Judiciary Committee. And as you know, she is now asking for an investigation first. What do you make of that change, and what do you think changed her calculation?
I don't think it's a calculation. I think it's basic fairness. There should be an investigation by the FBI because they're nonpartisan. They'll do an objective investigation of the facts.
I'm sorry. I thought you just said the FBI is nonpartisan. Did you just say that? That's like a really funny joke when we found all year long that the FBI is completely compromised. And look at over here. We have John Brennan, former CIA, John Brennan over here, raisin face, say, FBI has obligation to circumvent Trump. Took constitutional oath to the United States to circumvent Trump. We have a complete traitor in the CIA and the FBI. The FBI and CIA are full of traitors, full of communists who are ready to just circumvent the Constitution and remove a duly elected president. Not ever in the history of the United States have we had FBI and CIA coming out on Twitter, social media, on all over the news, say that we need to remove the duly elected president and talk shit about him and say that he's not good for the American people and we need to basically create a coup d'etat. Not ever has that ever happened. So we are living in unprecedented times where the FBI and the CIA aren't even shy about it. They're not even ashamed or trying to hide the fact that they hate Trump and that they're biased against him. And they only hate him because he's a true American patriot who wants the best for our country. But of course, communists or hidden communists, closet communists, don't want that. Sorry, let's continue.
Present those facts to the Judiciary Committee. And this is exactly the process you do for all judicial nominees, especially for the Supreme Court. You have to have a background check on this specific allegation, which wasn't done in the previous background check. They afforded the same investigation during the Anita Hill hearings. It's absurd that 27 years later, we can't do better than what we did 27 years ago. And so we need to at least have the investigation done so the facts can be presented. And then when you do have the hearing, witnesses should be allowed. We should allow the corroborating witnesses. It's outrageous that they just want a he said, she said with just Dr. Ford with Judge Kavanaugh.
And you said you support Professor Ford's request for an FBI investigation, but Senator Grassley, as you know from the Judiciary Committee, says, quote, and I can read this to you, nothing the FBI or any other investigator does would have any bearing on what Dr. Ford tells the committee. Why is an investigation so important in your view? And what do you make of what we're hearing from Senator Grassley, which is that this hearing has to happen on Monday? If not, they'll send investigators or staffers out to talk to her. It seems as though the senator is saying he wants this over with.
Well,
yeah.
Senators aren't nonpartisan, first of all, and they're not professionals in the same way the FBI are. Second, there are corroborating witnesses here. There was a witness to the actual event in Mark Judge, and so
Mark Judge, he said that it didn't happen.
he should be questioned under oath by the FBI and then asked to testify in the hearing also under oath. And this is a woman who is literally, she has no reason to lie. She's asking for a federal investigation.
I love that they keep saying that she has no reason to lie. Yes, she does. She has been proven to hate Trump. She's tried to undermine his efforts. She has poured money into the Democratic causes. She has, I don't know, she's tried to block the wall. She's been seen at protests. She's walked around with vagina hats on her head. I don't know. Maybe she's a hero to the Democratic Party. This is not any kind of loss for her. She knew this would happen. She planned for this very, very meticulously. And what does she have to gain? I love it when they keep saying that. She's going to be a hero. If she ends up stopping the confirmation process of Kavanaugh, she is the hero of the Democrat Party forever, ever, ever. She goes down the books as the hero. So don't give me any of that crap. Oh, she has nothing to gain from this. Oh my God, she's in danger. She's receiving death threats. Poor her. She can't go home. You know, she's really losing in all of this. Don't give me that crap. Anyone with half a brain can see right through that bullshit. And I also don't like that they're saying the Kavanaugh accuser, Christine Crazy Ford, is getting bullied into a he said, she said scenario. That's what the hearing is for. It's he said, she said. Now let's have the judge decide who is credible and who is not based on their stories and based on their interview. I love their hypocrisy, and they keep moving the target. They said, well, hear her story. She needs to be heard. She's credible. She needs to be heard. And then as soon as they say, okay, great, let's hear her. Here's the hearing on Monday. Then they say, oh, no, asking her questions like this is bullying. It's sexist asking a woman questions like that. That's very interrogative and oppressive and bullying behavior. And they say, okay, well, how about we do it behind closed doors then? How about we do it without cameras? And they've given her about 10 different options. And they keep finding a way to get out of each option. They only want to do the FBI investigation, which we all know the FBI is compromised, and it will probably turn into another 2-year-long witch hunt, just like the Russian Mueller hoax. So we can't stand for this anymore. Grassley cannot stand for this anymore. We must put our foot down to this ridiculous behavior. It's evil. You know, it's really evil because no matter what, even if he is innocent, Kavanaugh, which I believe he is, but if he is, he still comes out with now this smear on his character, which is absolutely disgusting. You know, they have talk about no empathy. They have no empathy for smearing a man and potentially ruining his life and career over just an allegation. And speaking of, look at, there's Kristen Gillibrand with Harvey Weinstein. Hypocrisy much? That's Harvey Weinstein and Kristen Gillibrand just hanging out, you know, no big deal. So she talks about Kavanaugh, how she can't stomach him because he's a sexual predator, and then she is right there. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay, now, you know what's really disgusting? Continuing on with the Jezebel spirit, there are actually women like this that say these things. And this girl has 23,000 followers, and she's an editor for Teen Vogue. Columnist, for Teen Vogue. Look how dangerous this is. Dangerous. Editor, columnist for Teen Vogue, and she says this. Here's an unpopular opinion. I'm actually not at all concerned about innocent men losing their jobs over false sexual assault and harassment allegations. And 2,500 people, shall I say 2,500 scumbags, liked this. Disgusting, right? Look at this filth that they're spewing into young people's minds. And of course I said, you are a disgusting psychopath. Please don't reproduce. I'm sorry, I know that wasn't very nice. But it's true, I don't want her to reproduce. I don't think that she should reproduce, and I don't think she should be around children or young girls. And I'll probably say that also. I also said, P.S., you need to repent. She does. And then she goes on to continue another slew of feminist talking points, which are really disgusting. And again, spreading lies, spreading misinformation, and gullible young girls will eat this right up. They don't know the difference. They just see this famous young Teen Vogue columnist talking to them and telling them facts. So what else are they going to believe? It's child abuse. It's brainwashing. She says, first, false allegations very rarely happen. No, bitch, they do. So even bringing up aborters on a derailment tactic. It's a microscopic risk in comparison to the issue at hand. Worldwide systemic oppression of half the population. What about half the population of men? It's a microscopic risk in comparison to the issue at hand. Ew. And more importantly, the benefit of all of us getting to finally tell the truth. Plus, the impact on victims far outweigh the loss of any one man's reputation. See, when feminists say, this is not a zero-sum game, we care about men, we're just all about equal rights and opportunities, and I always call them on that BS, this is it right here on full display. It is a zero-sum game for them, and it is a vicious game of we have to succeed and at your cost, right? We succeed at your cost. We succeed and get empowered, and you're going to have to pay for it. You are going to have to die for it. You know, it's okay because, you know, you got to sacrifice for women. It's still sexism. And more importantly, oh, sorry if some innocent man's reputations have to take a hit in the process of undoing the patriarchy. That is a price I am absolutely willing to pay. Can you believe that filth? I can't even stomach it. It is so disgusting. I get so angry. Well, at least some of these comments had me gain a little bit more faith in America and Americans and people in general. Luckily, someone said, Emily, I follow you and appreciate your contribution to this very serious issue, but I think you crossed a line here. Your view is the equivalent of condoning the execution of innocents because it's a microscopic risk against ridding the world of murderers. Can't agree on this. Well, we know that Marxist, feminists, liberals, all of them are Marxists. We know that they have a rule in their rule book that says that they can, you know, the ends justify the means, right? The ends justify any means. So they can kill, cheat, steal, slander, murder. They can do whatever because the ends to them justify their noble means. That's what they believe. And here we are with this in full display. And the funny thing is, well, it's not funny, it's sad, but they don't even hide it anymore. It's right out there in plain view. Plain view. They don't even hide it anymore. They don't hide the fact that they're all about the ends justify the means. But let's go on. Luckily, she says, well, I draw a different line, I guess. Like, how old is this girl? I mean, I'm so concerned that she's influencing millions of young girls in Teen Vogue. Someone said, here it is, folks, toxic femininity. Yes. Thank you. Mother of son who hanged himself after being falsely accused of rape and committed suicide. The mother of a teenager who hanged himself after being subjected to rape allegations has committed suicide in the same way shortly after. So she committed suicide after her son committed suicide. Wow. Can you believe that? Let's see if she said any reply to that. Oh, she doesn't care if innocent people get hurt until it's her, of course. Yes. So you can read this. It's quite disturbing, to say the least. But luckily, some of the people's comments, have me have faith in humanity a little bit more. But it's really it's very scary. And her name, well, you saw it. You can. Okay. Now let's go just a little bit more. Look at this. Yale Law School is a model of complicity. I believe Christine. Me too. So look at this. Yale, which used to be a respectable school to go to with all the best intellects. Now look at it's turned into a cesspool, a satanic cesspool. Look, they say, it's no accident that Kavanaugh's female clerks looked like models, Professor Chua. Yale Law School is model of complicity. And then they have all these signs about Brett Kavanaugh is guilty, stop Kavanaugh, believe Christine, we believe Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, #MeToo. So, and this is where he went to school. What bothers me so much too is that no matter what, men can't win in their eyes. Men can't win. So when she said, when they said that, he has worked with a lot of females, he hires a lot of females, and then they say, oh, well, it's no surprise he hired a lot of females because he is a womanizer. But if he didn't hire a lot of females, they would say, see, he's a sexist, he's a misogynist, he doesn't hire enough females. There aren't enough females there. He doesn't care about women. He doesn't care about women's rights. So literally men can't win, especially white men, especially white Christian conservative men. They can't win in their eyes. He doesn't hire enough females? Okay, actually he hires a lot of females. Oh, well, that proves he's a womanizer. Get the hell out of here. And let me just show you this real quick. I made a comment last night. I don't know if it's going to end up. I was on CNN again last night. And I found out, by the way, why they have two segments. So they normally have two segments. They film me at 9th hour, at 9 o'clock, and then they film again at 10 o'clock. And they go over the same topics. And I was wondering, why do they do that twice? Why not just do it once if it's the same topics? And I realized why. It's because they want to get all my talking points out, and then they want to edit it later and take the best talking points from the other two women, the other commentators, and the worst from me, and make it and frame it like I'm losing the argument. They want to frame it like they're winning the debate and I'm the one who looks like stupid or clueless or whatever. I found it out. They wouldn't ever admit it, but it's the truth. I know it and they know it. So I'll see how my interview last night turned out. I wanted really badly to make a comment about the white men, but I wasn't able to. They cut me off. But look at this thing that she says that I think it's so irrelevant.
About a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. A week's delay, 2 weeks delay is not going to be all that important when you think in the scheme of things how important this appointment is.
Okay, so Ford wrote to Democrat Senator DeAnna.
Their stories when they tell their stories, and we are in no position to judge months with the Me Too movement. Is that for the first time women are being believed, and there's so much scientific evidence, so much credibility that has been given to victims about why they tell their stories with to be played out on national television. If someone went to law enforcement and reported an attempted rape, there would be an extensive. There's something he could do that he refuses to do or hasn't done to date, and that is direct the FBI.
This he said, she said, sort of back and forth. How do you determine credibility?
Well, first of all, John, it shouldn't be a he said, she said. And if the president was really serious about the statement that he made, there's something he could do that he refuses to do or hasn't done to date. And that is direct the FBI to conduct an investigation.
Okay, well, I can't find it right now, but she basically said, when we have a court of, we have 11 white men against her, or on the court. And it was like, well, what does race have anything to do with it? Does it make you less of a person? Does it make you less credible, less valuable of a viewpoint that you're a white man? And they've said that she has said this every time I've seen her speak. She talks about the white men on the court, like as if that's somehow, deference, and it's disgusting. Okay, so just a few other things. Samantha Bee, you know how I keep saying that we are living in basically Satan's world right now, and he is influencing women, bringing out their Jezebel spirit. He's coaxing it out of them, and gullible women, thankfully not me, but gullible women everywhere are falling into this BS, and they are fully activated by Satan, I believe. And if there was any question about it, hey, let's look at Samantha Bee. Samantha Bee says this blatantly. A real-life Russian agent infiltrated the NRA with sex, and people hardly even batted an eye. I don't even know what that means, because it is just another week in this, the year of our Satan, 2018. The year of our Satan, 2018. So who knows if she was kidding or not kidding, but either way, that's pretty blatant. It's right out there. So, a couple other things. Now, women think, I want to get you guys familiar with, I don't know if you guys, for some of you guys who, for some of you guys who know me or have worked with me before, a lot of you guys know that I am actually a trained hypnotherapist. I'm a trained hypnotherapist. I'm a trained and certified NLP practitioner and energy healer. So I implement this a lot. I integrate this with my clients. And I used to do it a lot more. I don't do it as much anymore, but I do it. I still do it sometimes. And hypnotherapy and hypnosis is it can be very useful and really valuable. So I'm well aware of hypnotic techniques, okay? And I have to tell you, if you don't already know, all of the mainstream media in Hollywood, it's basically one giant hypnotic trance. This is really important for people that aren't woke and that don't understand this, but their techniques that they use are straight from a hypnotist playbook. Everything that they do is pretty much all for the purpose of putting the country or putting the world in a hypnotic trance so that they can control them and that they can get them to buy things or they can get them to do things or act in certain ways. What do you think, why do you think they called TV programming? Because it is programming you. It was a brilliant, genius idea to come up with TV and with music, with the music industry, because it's a perfect way to program into any thoughts, any behaviors, or any tendencies or values, beliefs that they want the public to have. Wow, how perfect. They just sit in front of this television all day long, and they are told what to think, how to feel about certain things, and what to believe, what to buy, what they need, what they should want in life. And it's to me, like, when you really think about it, you're like, wow, that is so stupid that for all this years, Americans and everywhere in the world, we're literally just sitting in front of this machine that tells you what to do and how to think, and they do it in a way that's theatrical and that's funny sometimes, or it's dramatic, but it is for the purpose, make no mistake, of telling you what to think and to shape public opinion, to control and to shape your brain. And songs are the same way. If you actually listen to the lyrics of many songs, they are, putting you in a trance, so to speak. They're putting you in a trance and they're wanting you to believe certain things. I'm going to say something that might trigger certain people, but it's worth it to research it a little bit and it's worth it to hear it. The hip hop industry, especially, is extremely responsible for disempowering the Black community. Have you noticed that, the hip hop songs have been increasingly more dead and dull and like just these low beats, and they don't have any value in it. There's an octave, a register for music. And the higher it goes, the higher it makes your brain feel, the better it is for you. There's some music that actually is good for your brain, and it is good for your happiness level and your well-being. And like real authentic instruments, for instance, and certain kinds of music that actually energizes you and makes you higher. And then there's other music that actually puts you into a very low mood, a low and primal, stupid mood, and it dumbs you down. And a lot of this new kind of recent hip hop, it actually is dumbs people down. And it's just like, it makes people just stupid and care about stupid things like bitches and when am I going to steal next, and, when am I going to get my hoe next. It's all for the purpose of dumbing people down to like the lowest possible vibrational energy. Really, really bad. So anyways, it keeps people in that just very, very low state of mind and not achieving anything in life. Anyways, I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I'm very familiar with hypnotic commands and how the whole kind of MSM, Hollywood world works. Now, when you understand that as the premise, you have to understand that these kinds of videos are meant just for that. They're meant to hypnotize people. They're meant to use the power of suggestion to drill into people's heads. Oh, I should believe that. I should believe that. And it's so obvious to any hypnotist. It's so obvious to anyone who can even look at other people who if you've ever seen a hypnotist or if you've ever listened to self-hypnosis tapes, they repeat suggestions over and over again for the purpose of creating a different kind of behavior, right? Or believing something. It's for the purpose of changing your beliefs. Knowing that, watch this video, this stupid video, and understand that this is exactly what this is. And it's over and over. This is what they do. More celebrities coming out.
Dear Professor Ford. Dear Professor Ford.
Dear Professor Ford.
We know how difficult it is to stand up to powerful people.
We want to thank you for publicly sharing your story of sexual violence.
As members of the Senate determine whether Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh
should serve as a Supreme Court Justice.
The Supreme Court Justice. This context is critical.
The behavior you described was wrong.
Wrong, and runs directly counter to upholding
it must have been
to have your truth shared on a national stage without your permission.
You should be the decision maker about how your story is shared, if ever.
We applaud your courage in coming forward
For the public good. And we will be with you as you face the inevitable backlash.
The inevitable backlash. The inevitable backlash. You're strong.
You are strong.
And you are not alone.
You are a survivor.
A survivor.
Creepy.
And millions of us have your back.
You and your testimony are credible.
you and your testimony are credible.
You and your testimony are credible.
We believe you.
We believe you.
We believe you.
Signed, your sisters.
Signed, your sisters. Signed, your sisters.
Signed, your sisters.
Okay, you can't get more hypnotic than that. That is like blatant hypnosis. You know, the fact that they're all repeating over and over again. There's that soft trance music in the background. And then they have, they're all repeating the same commands over and over again. Those are hypnotic commands. Wake up, people. Those are called hypnotic commands. This is why they do these videos. And most people are so stupid that they can't realize it. And they're like, oh, it's credible. Her story is credible. Her story is credible. Where the hell did you hear that from? It's from these stupid celebrities. What about this one? It's the same thing.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Remember this one?
Flabbergasted.
Furious.
Concerned for my children.
I'm worried for everyone.
The majority of Americans, regardless of who they voted for,
Did not vote for racism,
For sexism or for xenophobia.
And yet Donald Trump won.
and since he won,
Hate crimes are rising.
Women have been attacked in his name.
People of color attacked in his name.
You represent us in Congress.
You are our last line of defense.
so here's what we ask of our elected officials. No, here's what we demand.
To the extent that Trump pursues racist,
Sexist, anti-immigrant,
Anti-worker, anti-Muslim, anti-Semitic, anti-environmental.
They want to get you to think of
policies
Trump as
that
anti-Trump.
vigorously oppose him.
we demand that you block nominees who threaten the rights of women.
The LGBT community, people of color, immigrants, and the poor.
and we want you to know that we are with you.
As long as you do that stuff, we won't remain silent.
we won't remain silent.
We won't remain silent.
We'll work harder to mobilize our votes.
And our communities. But we need you. And we expect you to have our backs.
To protect our civil liberties.
And to use your congressional powers
To obstruct.
To obstruct.
Obstruct, defeat
Anything.
Anything.
anything that violates our core values as diverse Americans.
Diverse.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
Of the American people.
Wow. It's so amazing to see this, almost 2 years later. And that's what their silly little gullible followers believe, right? That's what they believe. It is sick. It's sick and it's satanic. It's like, yes, it's like the Manson girls singing outside the court building, like, what is it? Earth, wind, fire, water, earth, wind, fire, water, and they're all having like a seance. So every time you see these videos done by stupid celebrities, just look at it like a seance. Like they're like, they're trying to bring out, invoke the satanic spirit in people. And it will turn you off so much to these kinds of videos and celebrities. It's like insane. And yet, now you really understand why all these people are in such a trance, because these celebrities are really good at what they do. They are good at what they do. These are not dumb people. It's orchestrated from above, or should I say below. And it's orchestrated by people who understand very well psychology and hypnotism and emotional manipulation. Very creepy stuff. And to me, it's so blatant. I can't believe that people don't understand this. Like, obstruct. Daddy Trump needs to administer discipline to these Wymans. Yes, they do. And then, what else was this? I'm going to show you. You know what's funny is people still don't get it, but I guess they still listen to. So I subscribe to this. I subscribe to this email list called People for the American Way, and it's all a Soros-run liberal leftist group. It's called People for the American Way, PFA. And I only subscribe to it just to see how terrible their emails are and how, like, what they're trying to drum up and say to the liberals to try to gain support. And their emails are so ridiculous. I've been getting one almost every day this week. And it's the same little letter, but it says, like, read Martin Sheen's letter on how he feels about Judge Kavanaugh and how he feels like it's so urgent to block it. And then I'll go and read some pre-written, Soros-written letter by Martin Sheen, saying like, Judge Kavanaugh is a threat to our democracy. Judge Kavanaugh is dangerous to everything that we stand for, to our diversity and to women's rights. And it's all canned and pre-written. And it's so funny. It's like, make sure you look at Martin Sheen's letter. And like I just picture these millions of stupid sheeple like being like, oh my God, Martin Sheen, the celebrity, the actor, said that he's against Kavanaugh and that Kavanaugh's dangerous. Oh my God, I need to go out and vote against Kavanaugh because Martin Sheen said it. Like, and then there's like another the next day, like Bruce Willis says it, or what's his name? Danny DeVito. you know? Everyone, oh, here's another one. It's just like so ridiculous that they really think like, oh my God, this actor who's trained to act says it's bad, so it must be bad. When are they going to get that the era of celebrities telling us what to do and how to think is over, okay? The era of celebrities telling us how to think and what to do and having us blindly believe it's over, it's done. And I am so happy after watching these kinds of videos. I'm so happy that I'm woke, you know? Aren't you just so happy that we can see right through this BS now? Makes me very happy, at least. And one more thing. Ruth Bader Ginsburg even says that she thinks that this has been a circus with Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation process. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is like the most liberal of liberal feminists, is speaking up and saying, and she's almost dying basically in this chair, but she's basically saying that this has gone too far and this has just become a complete charade and political circus. That's when we know
for a nominee to
that
your
this
court.
is bad.
Many observers have said that the process today looks nothing like your confirmation hearing 25 years ago. President Clinton nominated you in June of 1993, and you were confirmed by the Senate 2 months later by a vote of 96-3. I might add that the National Asian Pacific American Bar Association was pleased to support your nomination. How would you compare the process that you went through with what's going on today in that process?
The way it was right. The way it is wrong. The atmosphere in 93 was truly bipartisan. The vote on my confirmation was 96-3. Even though I had spent about
So she's saying that it's truly was bipartisan then, and now it's not, and she wishes things were back to where it was.
ACLU board, ACLU, and I was on the ACLU board and one of their general counsel.
Oh well, looks like my stream is failing, so this sucks. Well, it looks like my stream is failing, so oh, bummer. Well, check out this interview by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's interesting, and just Google or YouTube Ruth Bader Ginsburg on Kavanaugh, and she actually admits that this has become a complete political stunt, and she doesn't agree with it. So basically, my message to women is that you don't need to give in to this Jezebel spirit. Be aware of this Jezebel spirit. That's what all of these, Hillary has it, Samantha Bee has it. That girl from Teen Vogue has it. Most of these women in powerful positions, and even not in powerful positions, has this Jezebel spirit. And the scary thing is it's like a cancer. It's infecting all areas of our country. And it's really becoming, a cancerous virus to young girls. You are amazing just as you are, young girls. You are beautiful and feminine, and I want you to embrace your femininity. Embrace it. It's beautiful. You don't need to act like a man to gain power and respect in this world. You can gain so much power just by being a woman. And in fact, you're more powerful and you gain more respect by men the more womanly and in touch with your femininity you are. You want you want to bring something unique and different to a man. You want to bring a different kind of spice, a different kind of flavor to men, not the same. If two things are the same, it's not unique, it's not beautiful, it's not complementary. We called this a yin and yang, not a yinish and yinish, or a yangish and yangish. So be a woman and love your womanhood. And it's beautiful and perfectly valid to have, to be a mother and to be a wife, to have a family. Those are great, valid, noble goals to have. And your career will always be there. You can have a career at any time of your life. And you can, but timing is everything. You don't have to be this big career woman right out of college. You can have a career after your kids have gone to school. Once they're maybe in kindergarten or in grade school, then you might want to think about going back in career. But think about this. You have your whole life to have your career. You don't have your whole life to have babies. You don't have your whole life to have children. You don't have your whole life to get a man or to have to have a wonderful marriage. It just gets harder the older that you get. It just does. So we have to talk about that. And, you don't need to give in to this liberal slut culture that is being pushed on you from Planned Parenthood and from these schools that are telling you that being a slut is great and being pregnant as a teen mom is fantastic. Or if you don't want a baby, have an abortion. No, abortion is bad. It's killing your own unborn child. And it's creating this, you're literally having death in your body. Is that something that you really want? And is that something that you really want to carry around? It is a serious thing. It's not a big nonchalant thing like this, like it's no big deal, like it's just Tuesday. This is a big deal. So don't let Planned Parenthood try to tell you that anal sex is fine or that fisting is fine or that all these other things are just fine or trying on a different gender is normal and healthy. It's not normal and healthy. Love you for who you are. Love men for who they are. Men have flaws. Guess what? And women have flaws. Men aren't perfect. Women aren't perfect. But we are perfect for each other. And you are perfect and beautiful in your own skin. And if you follow God's plan, if you follow God's teaching and what his design is, I can almost guarantee you're going to have a much happier and more successful life and a much more fulfilling life than if you follow the Jezebel's plan. The Jezebel plan is, have sex as soon as possible, early and often. Experiment with other genders. Experiment with other sexualities. Have sex as a teenager. Try different sexual positions. Think of sex as just a sport, not something that's out of sacredness or love. Get pregnant. Have an abortion or two. Then continue to sleep around and then work the rest of your life and gain a bunch of power over men, subordinate men, and raise to the top of your ranks as the most powerful lawyer or corporate executive or president as possible. That's what the Jezebel plan is. And I guarantee you that is a life of loneliness. It is a life of misery. It's a life of emptiness. By the time you become 65, you're not going to have grandchildren. You're not going to have children to show for it. And you will be the one in a retirement home when you're 95, having other people take care of you who don't care about you and don't love you, instead of grandchildren who bring you flowers and come to your home to visit you and have a life and a home full of memories with children, with grandchildren, with family. Believe me, God's plan is a better plan. God's plan is a plan that is filled with love and fulfillment and happiness. And it treats men and women with much more respect than this Jezebel plan, which is tearing women apart from men and tearing babies apart from women and tearing up the fabric of our society. That is where I'll end. I love you. God loves you. And I encourage all of you to seek out the truth, seek out the plan that is really just part of our nature. It's part of our design. Okay? I'm going to end it there, guys. I love you. And guess what? President Trump also has a great plan for us. He really had a great rally last night. He had a fantastic rally. It was awesome. It was wonderful. Every time I watch one of his rallies, I get excited all over again because I know that he has our best interests in heart. And he is not going to let this BS continue. I know it. He is like the firm daddy that really cares about you and really cares about our country. I love how protective he is of Americans. I love how protective he is of America and our way of life. That should be something that everyone loves and admires in a president. Protectiveness, strictness, discipline, lawfulness, and Christianity. These are the things we know he always talks about and brings up the fact that God created this country and that our obedience is from God and to God and not to a government. Right? So thank you very much for listening. I love you, and I hope you have a fantastic and wonderful weekend. And thank you for watching. I'll be back on Monday, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on New Right Network. I really apologize for the technical difficulties. I've been working all week with tech support to try to figure it out. I haven't been able to figure it out yet. Something is going on with the OBS. It's some sort of glitch within the OBS. It's not with my computer. If anyone is really good at OBS or has another streaming platform that that works really well that I can stream into multiple social media profiles, please send me a direct message. Let me know because I'm all ears right now. I want to find a software that really works and that doesn't have these glitches. So I'll see you Monday, and we will now have the closing prayer. Dear Lord, I pray that more women and men can see the light and can open their hearts to love instead of hate, can open their hearts to unity rather than divisiveness, can open their minds to truth rather than lies. I pray for love and protection for our great President Trump, that they remain safe, and all those working for us and his family, that they remain safe and resilient in the face of so many evil forces that are working against them. I pray for all of you and the truth warriors of the world who are courageously speaking the truth and boldly working to bring those who are in the darkness into the light. Put on the full armor of God so that you'll be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in heavenly places. I pray for all of you that you find true and lasting love, and that God puts an incredible partner in your life to be with you during this journey, and brings you the beautiful family, the joy, and all the blessings that you deserve. And lastly, we know that good conquers evil, that love conquers hate, and I pray that together and with God's help and grace, we're able to make our country and our world great again. In Jesus' name, amen. I love you all. Thank you so much. You are fantastic. And we will see you on Monday. I'll leave you with this. Stand up next to you. No doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Yes, we will talk about the porn industry next week. Good comment. Thank you all.